copies have been made of that, those need to be destroyed.
Okay.
Okay? If they get disclosed, that is going to put me in a situation where I will have to withdraw from the case.
Okay.
If you disclose that information in any way, all of it needs to be destroyed now. But if you disclose it in any way, it's going to put me in a position where I will have to withdraw from the case. If you all choose to go on the internet and try to publicize this stuff, that's going to create real problems.
Okay.
You can't do it, is what I'm telling you. You cannot do it. I will have to move to withdraw from the case.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
All right.
So make sure everybody's aware of that. Okay. If any of that is posted anywhere on the internet, we're going to have problems. Whatever copies have been made of that, those need to be destroyed.
Okay.
Okay. If they get disclosed, that is going to put me in a situation where I will have to withdraw from the case.
Okay.
This is not another boring podcast. Mustapha through the police body cams. Judge Carol Weimer, defense attorney Brad Haywood, you are under the microscope. In today's podcast, we're going to talk about the hotel off of Dumfries that was raided by the FBI and Prince William County Police Department. The FBI is telling us, it's all over the news, they're telling us that it's a multi-year investigation into that hotel. And they're investigating sex trafficking. They're investigating sex trafficking. They're investigating drugs. And they've been watching the hotel for years. Now, if you're the FBI, if you're the police, you rely on informants. You're collecting information and you rely on informants. What we're going to talk about in this podcast, who were the FBI informants and what does that have to do with the Mostafa Aljazari case? We're going to put Mustafa's girlfriend, Dorothy Fontaine, under the microscope. And we're going to find out, was Dorothy Fontaine a confidential informant for the FBI? And does that have anything to do with her cell phone not being part of the case? The prosecutor and the police department refused to put her cell phone in the Mostafa Aljazari, to have it part of the case. I mean, essentially, Mustafa's case cannot move forward without her cell phone. I mean, what are they accusing Mustafa? They're accusing Mustafa of that he hates his girlfriend, that he has a bad relationship with his girlfriend. Wouldn't you think the first thing you look into is the text communication between Mustafa and his girlfriend? But they refused. The prosecutor and the police department refused to have his girlfriend's cell phone part of the case. Essentially, the case cannot move forward without her cell phone. Mustafa has been sitting in solitary confinement without a trial for 3 years. They refuse to take Mustafa to trial because they know by law, you take Mustafa to trial, his girlfriend's cell phone is gonna have to be part of the case. We're gonna put Dorothy Fontaine, Mustafa's girlfriend, under the microscope. We're gonna find out why Mustafa's case is not moving forward. And we're gonna talk about the FBI raiding the hotel off of Dumfries.
If any of that is posted anywhere on the internet, we're going to have problems. Whatever copies have been made of that, those need to be destroyed.
Okay.
Okay. If they get disclosed, that is going to put me in a situation where I will have to withdraw from the case.
Okay.
If you disclose that information in any way, all of it needs to be destroyed now. But if you disclose it in any way, it's going to put me in a position where I will have to withdraw from the case. If you all choose to go on the internet and try to publicize this stuff, that's going to create real problems.
Okay.
You can't do it, is what I'm telling you. You cannot do it. I will have to move to withdraw from the case.
Okay. All right.
Okay?
All right.
So make sure everybody's aware of that. Okay? If any of that is posted anywhere on the internet, we're going to have problems. Whatever copies have been made of that, those need to be destroyed.
Okay.
Okay? If they get disclosed, that is going to put me in a situation where I will have to withdraw from the case.
Okay.
If you, if any of that.
This is not another boring podcast, Mustapha, through the police body cams. Presiding Judge, Judge Carol Weimer, you are under the microscope. And of course, we can't forget about the defense attorney that ran away from the case after sitting on this case for a whole entire year, and then turn around and say, I've been threatened off the Mostafa Aljazari case. But my client is innocent, he tells the court. Brad Haywood ran away from the Mostafa Aljazari case. Now, let's look into the Mostafa Aljazari case and find out why is Brad Haywood, the defense attorney who sat on Mustafa's case for a whole entire year, ran away. In today's podcast, we're going to look into what is going on off of Dumfries. I mean, for years, we're trying to make sense of what's going on in Mustafa's case. And why is Mustafa's case not moving forward? Mustapha sits in solitary confinement for over 3 years without a trial. I mean, let that sink in. Here in Virginia, if you don't waive your right to a speedy trial, the prosecutor, by law, have to take you to court, have to take you to trial. In Mustafa's case, Mustapha never waived his right to a speedy trial. So what is he doing in solitary confinement in a county jail for over 3 years without a trial? Is the prosecutor breaking the law? Absolutely. Essentially, what she has is an individual sitting in a county jail without a trial. They're denying Mustafa's right to his day in court. Mustafa Aljazari got in a vehicle accident, and the details that are coming out of this case is that this is a car accident. Mustafa did everything he can to avoid a vehicle accident. There's a dash camera, there's a body cam that showed this is a car accident. On body cam, the police department inspected Mustafa's vehicle and they found brake failure. Now, wait a minute. The computer inside Mustafa's vehicle, the ACM, showed that Mustafa's foot was hitting the brake the whole entire time, but the vehicle would not stop. The police department inspects Mustafa's car and they find brake failure. His brakes did not work. So Mustafa's trying to stop the vehicle, but the vehicle would not stop. Now, Mustafa's case is sealed by the Commonwealth Attorney, and essentially, you can't get anything out of this case. And you're only supposed to take the Commonwealth Attorney and the police department word for it, that Mustafa crashed the vehicle intentionally. That's what they're telling you on day one. That Mustafa crashed the vehicle on purpose. And there is an argument inside the vehicle. And they sealed off the whole entire case. Well, unfortunately for the police department, unfortunately for the Commonwealth Attorney, there has been a major leak in the case. All the police body cams, all the documents are now on the internet. So we can verify that the Commonwealth Attorney and the police department has been lying about Mustafa's case for over 3 years now. And that this is a car accident. One, there is no argument inside the vehicle. Two, Mustafa did everything he can to avoid a vehicle accident. Now, on this podcast, we're not going to go into the details of the actual case. We've covered it on other podcasts, and we're going to cover on the next podcast. On this podcast, what we're going to cover is why is Mustafa not having his day in court? I mean, essentially, the Commonwealth Attorney, the prosecutor, is claiming that Mustafa crashed the vehicle on purpose. The details that are coming out of this case is that this is a car accident. All right, let's go to court. Let's take Mustapha to court and litigate this in court. The Commonwealth attorney tell you absolutely not. And essentially what they have is Mustapha sit in a county jail without a trial for over 3 years now. What are they terrified from that this case is not moving forward? Well, obviously they falsified the whole entire case. Mustapha's statement is falsified. The dash camera is cut and muted. The vehicle is crushed and staged. The children are weaponized against Mustapha. The reason that they're terrified and they're upset that this file leaked, what this file shows is that they falsified the whole entire case. The question that we're asking on this podcast is what is stopping Mustapha's case from moving forward to court? Well, essentially, his cell phone dump. Mustapha's cell phone dump and Dorothy's cell phone dump. Why is the cell phone dump being excluded from Mustapha's case? Wouldn't you think when the prosecutor accuses Mustapha that he hates his family, that he hates his girlfriend, wouldn't you think the first thing you do in this case is go into the text messages between Mustapha and his girlfriend? But the prosecutor says absolutely not. And she's excluding the cell phone dump from this case. And for 3 years, Mustapha is demanding his cell phone dump. He says, where's my cell phone dump? You're telling me that I hate my family. Why don't you check my cell phone? I mean, I've never seen a criminal demand that you go into his cell phone communication. And the prosecutor who says Mustapha is guilty says, no, we're not going to go and look at the cell phone communication. We're not going to look at what Mustapha and Dorsey texted each other. Wait a minute. The role is reversed here. It's supposed to be Mustapha terrified that you're going to look into his text communication, and it's supposed to be the prosecutor who's telling you, look what I have. Instead, the prosecutor is terrified that you're going to look into the communication between Mustapha and Dorothy. And you have a guy in solitary confinement telling you, look into my communication. I loved my girlfriend. The question is, what's on Dorothy's cell phone that the prosecutor is terrified that's going to be released into the Mostafa Aljazari case? I think the best thing you do to find out is to put Mustafa's girlfriend under a microscope. Now, a couple of days ago, it's all over the news. They're telling us that the FBI and the Prince William County Police Department have had a multi-year investigation into the hotel off of Dumfries Road. They're investigating for drugs, and they're investigating for sex trafficking. All right. And they say they've been watching the hotel for years. Now, if you were the FBI, you would rely essentially on confidential informants, individuals that pretend they go in, pretend to be selling drugs, go in and pretend to be prostituting. And essentially, you're gathering information for the police and the FBI who's running this operation. You rely on confidential informants. What we're finding out is Mustafa's girlfriend, when Mustapha met his girlfriend, Dorothy Fontaine, where was Dorothy living? Dorothy Fontaine lived at that hotel. Now, all right, you asked me, so what does that have to do with anything? It could just be coincidence that she lived at the hotel. Well, hold on now. Dorothy Fontaine wasn't just living at the hotel.